Hey everybody, it's Briar Harvey here with another Systems Are Messy interview. Today, my guest is Elizabeth Pampalone. Elizabeth, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I am a website designer and I own a marketing firm in Florida. And I love it. I've been doing it for about 13 years and I've been building websites for 20.
Now, you have a very unique way of designing websites. Tell us really quickly how you do that.
So my firm creates websites in one day. We sit with the client for about 8 hours and we create a website from start to finish, everything from e-commerce to even sometimes membership or other components as well.
Which I love. I love that you do it in a day. So, how do you keep track of what you have to do?
Well, I also have some systems that I developed called social media in a day, email marketing in a day, and blogging in a day. And those systems go with the email or building a website in a day and also building a brand in a day. And if you put all that together, it's what I call absolute marketing. It's the very absolute pieces that you need to actually create an entire marketing plan for your brand. And the way that we usually keep track of that is through Google Drive, and I use Sheets and the Google Docs, and also just the folders in Google Drive to kind of keep track of everything.
I love it. So, you have stuff to show us.
Yeah, so I can show you a couple of things that I did for my company earlier this year. Like I said, with the email or with the social media in a day, I do this for my own company. And this is an example of my list. I put in the days that I want to post in the date form. I put the day that it's actually going to post, and then I put what I want to post here.
Mhm.
And then this actually will go into my scheduler, and it will show up on my Facebook page or my Twitter or my Instagram or whatever that is, whatever it's going to on that day. So this is what I do with all of my clients. We put everything in here. We put the words we're going to use. We're going to put the if it's an image or not, and then I also put the links if there's any. And this gets just entered directly into the scheduler, so it's very quick and easy to create. And I do all of this
Or to
first.
delegate. Delegate. You can delegate this, people.
Oh yeah, yeah. This I send to my VA, and I have all of the images named with the date. So if they see August 7th and then the date, and that there's an image, if they go to the images gallery, there's actually going to be an August 7th
Oh, I
named
love it.
file.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic. That's
yeah.
fantastic.
So yeah, this is something I create first. It takes about the entire day to create this, and then again, I do delegate the implementation piece. Actually putting it in the scheduler.
Hmm.
To the VA.
I love it. So then, I'm guessing not often, but do things occasionally slip through the cracks?
Yes, what typically happens is, let's say we run out of time and we only get to, April or something, and we're starting in January, or we don't start until February. And so I try to make sure that I'm doing as much of this as I can in one day. I'm really focusing. I actually take an entire day and block it in my calendar because I know how hard it is for my clients, and they just look at me. They're like, "You're gonna take me out of my business for a week to do all this stuff.
Hmm.
I can't leave my business for a week." And it's not that I'm asking them to do that, but it really is. I'm asking them to do that because you have to isolate. Otherwise, this stuff doesn't happen. Because we can do this, bits at a time. I could do all of April right now. I could do all of May right now, for the coming month. But it's not going to do anything. It's going to make me more stressed to sit down and go, okay, let me focus on social media for like 10 minutes. Okay, done for April. Now moving on to email marketing for 10 minutes. Okay, now, and you kind of go down these rabbit holes too. And so this really says, I only have today to do social media, and it has to be done for the whole year. And you really can focus on that. And I also have a formula that I use to create all these posts and how I get them in really quickly.
Got it. Got it. So, how do you accommodate for the unknown events? So, when crap happens, what do you do?
For, you mean like for my social or for like anything?
For anything. You've planned out for a year.
Yeah,
I'm looking at my vision board on the wall right
yeah,
now and all of the things this year I'm not going to get to do. So, what
yeah.
do you do when the plan changes like that for you?
Yeah, so that happened for us several times in the last few years of my career. I did start my business in 2007, so right before the recession happened, and I go back to this because I really learned how to recession proof my business. I really learned how to take on something that you're not prepared for. There's nothing you can do about it. It's impossible to know what that's going to be. Um, and so I I learned at that time to just adapt and pivot and keep adapting and
Mhm.
keep pivoting. You can't sit and go, well, now all my stuff's gone. What am I going to do now? You just sit there, or keep pushing on in a way that isn't going to be working anymore, isn't going to be helping or serving you or serving anyone anymore. So what I really learned to do was to look at every single piece of what I'm doing and say, this was bringing me in money because I was doing all of, and even for now, like just in this time, I was bringing in almost all of my income through my in-person sessions with clients. And then we had residual income through maintenance and other programs that we have for managed services. But these main chunks of income and cash flow would be coming in through meeting with a client, sitting down for a week, face to face in an office. I would fly to go see them. They would fly to come see me. We would be in the same city, whatever. And all of that had to go out the window. And since then, I sat down and looked at my stuff and said, okay, I can't do this in person anymore. It's not great virtually. It's not a great product to do virtually. It just doesn't work very well. I've done it virtual and it just sucks. And I don't get the quality I want. And so I've looked at that and said, how can I change this? How can I make this remote? Maybe I should be going back to the customers I already have, because a lot of times we worry about getting new customers and we don't worry about the current ones and retention.
Mhm.
And so I went back to my customers I already have and I said, what can I do more for you right now? You're stuck
Yes.
at home. You're fumbling around with social media. You're fumbling around with your website. Whatever it is. You tell me what you need now, and let me help you with that now. And you pay me more money to do that because then you can do other things that you want to do while we're sitting here. Or you need to reach out to. I work with a lot of nonprofits. You need to reach out to your donors. That's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. Let me worry about social media. Let me worry about, so I kind of came up with the solutions for current customers. I'm going back to current customers and saying, you need to do these other things that are going to take more of your time now. Give me these things that I can do for you.
Mhm.
Instead of just sitting going, how do I get new customers? How do I get new customers? I have some, and how can I talk to them and say, do you know anyone else who's struggling with this? I've already worked on your website. Who else do you know that has a website issues? They can't get online donations right now. They can't sell their stuff online.
And
How
you
can I
have to
help
be
them?
very deliberate about
Yes.
referrals because you aren't
Yeah.
just going to collect them from thin air. You have to contact your current customers and you have to say, hey, do you know anyone who needs
Yep.
this service that I provide?
Yep. And I did that a couple of weeks ago as these things were starting to come down and we were launching our new brand. And I said, look, I'm launching this new brand. I've helped you a lot. Who do you know? And since then I've gotten 2 or 3 referrals that have come in and 2 of them have actually taken. So it's very interesting that when if you don't ask, you don't get. And I think a
Right.
lot of that goes back to pricing. It goes back to, if you're looking for a system for your messy productivity, if you're looking for something, a lot of people know these answers. We don't ask. We don't think to
Right.
ask. We don't
We
know
don't
where
ask.
to ask. Just ask. I don't know. Ask in your Facebook page. Like, doesn't matter. Just ask somebody. And the same goes to referrals. The same goes to asking for the sale. Even all of that, you have to just ask. And a lot of times, it's just gonna. Oh, there it is. If I just
Mhm.
asked, there it was.
I shared a brilliant Tumblr post the other day about ask culture versus guess culture. And this is fundamentally something that people learn as they're growing up. It's social, it's cultural. There are a number of perhaps like Middle Eastern cultures where guess culture is just ingrained in the society. And then there are rules about how you have to guess. But for most of us, especially entrepreneurs, you have to ask over and over. Just
Yep.
you have to get over being afraid of asking. You have to ask constantly.
And that goes back to like to even marketing, like in-person marketing. I know we're going to get back to that eventually, so I'm not
Hmm.
afraid to talk about it.
Right.
But that effectively is walking into a room and asking a group of strangers who they are and what they do.
Mhm.
And, you know, I've done so much marketing, it's ridiculous. I used to network 3 times a day. I did that for an entire year, and it was insane. And then I ran 13 meetups groups a month for 2 years.
Oh,
So I know about networking, and I know what happens. People get there, they psych themselves up. Okay, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Okay, I'll talk to 5 people. Okay, I talked to my 5 people. I'm out. You know, like they don't want to be there because they don't want to be standing there going, so what do you do? And then like listening to a story they don't want to hear, and then going, oh, I do this. And that's not what it's about. But you have to walk in with that ask already
mhm,
in front of you.
mhm.
Walking in and saying, hi, I'm Elizabeth, and this is what I do, and talk to me, and blah, blah, blah. That's boring. No one wants to hear someone just bloviate about themselves. They want to hear someone else ask them a question. Every time I would walk into a new group or a new setting, I would just walk up to everyone and shake their hand and say, hey, I'm Elizabeth. What do you do? Not I'm Elizabeth. I do these things, blah, blah, blah. I'm Elizabeth. What do
What
you
do you
do?
do?
And people would just be like, oh, yeah, I do this thing and this thing. And it's in our culture in America, in US, to say, and what do you do? Like once we're finished, we can't just leave it and go, I do this. Amazing. End of story. You know, like,
No,
well,
it's
what do you do?
expected that you follow up with the ask, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So you're actually getting them to ask you, but you're just starting it off. And a lot of people,
Surprisingly,
yeah,
people are more interested in the answer when they get to ask you. It's
yeah.
amazing how that works.
You're it's also reverse psychology. It's that what's that inception of the idea. You're planting it and
Hmm.
making them think it's their idea that they asked you, because now they're being polite. So it's on them that, you know, I'm being polite now. So that kind of thing is very interesting. And a lot of people, even if you just go and you just ask them what they do, and even if they don't respond back, like, hey, what do you do? And you're like, okay, great, that's great. And they're just like, yeah, okay, like move on. Then you just move on and you pick another person. What do you do? You know, and eventually you'll find someone, if you keep having to move from person to person, who will respond back to you the way you know expect. But at the same time, it also breeds authority, because they think now you've walked the entire room, you've asked everyone what they do, you've shooken every hand, you know, all that stuff. And now that people would think I was the person leading the group, and I never, in those situations, I never was. I would just walk in and be like, hey, I'm in charge here. Like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do?
So you have all these systems for connecting.
Yeah.
How do you review and process, especially people? CRMs are hard. How do you keep track of all of this?
So I have been in 50 million CRMs over the years. I mean, I feel like I've tried every single one. And I was, up until about a year ago, using Evernote, literally like notes in my phone, just make a note on a person, put some info in. Maybe their phone number was on the email they sent me. I don't know. It's just, that's how I was tracking them. I wasn't tracking calls, I wasn't tracking emails, I wasn't tracking any of that. But then I would find that I had to-do lists over here and to-do lists over there, and all my inboxes were to-do lists. But then I couldn't really add to-do lists to my inboxes, so then I had other lists. I tried so many to-do list apps. And then I found, and I use G Suite for my business. I found Drag app.
Hey, that's a
And
new one to
Drag
me.
app is amazing. So I will show you a sneak peek. Pull up my email here. So Drag app is actually within your email system,
Hmm.
and it creates boards within your email.
Ooh.
So you never have to leave your email. You log into one thing, and it's not a CRM per se, but you know how you can use Trello as like a CRM, or you
Hmm.
can use something like Asana as a CRM, but they're not a CRM per se, right? You can use the cards as a CRM. And so let me show you. Let's see here. Where's there it is, share. Okay. This is my Drag app. And these are all the incoming emails. They all go into my to-do options. And
Hmm.
then I have my doing, things that are happening this week. And then I have done things here that I might need to still follow up on or just make check-in on. And then I have my clients and things that are to do for them. I have assigned them to my team, put deadlines on them. We have chats within our tasks. I can write notes on each task, and I can
This is
add
nifty.
tasks to my emails. So my emails are tasks, and my tasks are in here as well. I also assign everything to my VA this way. And these are the recurring things, and we'll bring these back to doing or to do when they pop back up. And so we have conversations on, let's see, this is a ticket from a client. I can have conversations here with my team about that. So, you know, it's very handy. Everything is within email. It can be with me and my team and our email system. It can also be with other people who use Gmail. But it's very, very easy to use and customizable. And the other thing I love about it is maybe I don't want to see my emails like this. I can literally just turn it off and I've got regular old Gmail back. And then I can turn it back on, and there we go. So that is what I
Nice.
use to eliminate all those lists, eliminate all those pieces of paper, because I can assign things to myself. I can assign things to my team. I can put dates and deadlines. It'll remind me. I can tag them in a chat message on that task or that email, and then they can tag me back, and I'll get a notification. Hey, you've been tagged. Go look at this. It'll take me right to that conversation. It just really given me a sense of clarity on what's happening, but also not having to say, okay, go to Trello to look for this, go to Asana to look for that, go to Basecamp to look for this. And my clients, I've been using this thing called Paperform on my website, which is a form module,
Mm-hmm.
and they can upload files right to the form, and that gets emailed to us. So it gets emailed to me, and then I can delegate it to whoever it needs to be delegated to with just dragging it to a box and then tagging the person in
That's
it.
fantastic.
So I'm not leaving my email. I'm not going to Trello, making another task, making another, it's all within the same thing. And I've always loved these, I never know how to say it, Kanban, whatever boards.
Mm-hmm.
Those boards are really awesome, and I like the way they're laid out. It makes sense to my brain, but I never liked that I had to go outside to, because I would forget to log in, or I just wouldn't use it. I'd write it down on a piece of paper because it was here rather than, switching as programs and stuff. So yeah, it's made it a lot easier.
15 per user per month. Not bad.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that one. We'll have a link in the show notes. We all know
Pretty
how
awesome.
Briar likes new tech, so I will check it out. All right. So how do you have like a weekly check-in or monthly review process? How often are you going back and looking at what you've created and seeing if you're still in line?
All the things that I create are what I consider evergreen. So anything that I create for the whole year, it's not going to be anything so specific that it would change.
Okay.
And if I'm putting out posts on events and stuff like that and they end up not happening, I can go into my system and just delete those posts. But what I'm doing is I'm giving this evergreen underlying layer, this foundation layer, that is just one post a day, typically, on every platform. Typically, it's the same post at the same time. So I'm not going crazy with schedules and trying to vary it. And, I'm not going into that mess because that's just algorithm playing. And I'm more algorithm proofing with this system.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to just say, here's my foundation level. I'm still a business. We're still here. And then as things happen, events, and I do this with my clients too, if they come up with a fundraising event, or they're going to be at a show, or they just found out they won an award or anything like that, then I add that on top. COVID happens, we need to put messages out about that. Let's put that on top. So that's an extra on top of this foundation layer. So I'm always posting and doing lives and adding to this as this current content
Mm-hmm.
and live stuff that's happening. But this other layer, it's just underlying. It's just what it needs to be. For example, I have every Friday, I have a post that's more like a self-care type of post, and it's more to remind me to go do things like for myself. And this week was the post that says "Go swing on a swing." And some people have swings in their backyards or their porch or, like things like that. Sometimes it's cold where you are. So, I mean, middle April, it's pretty much
Yeah,
warmish
it
everywhere.
snowed here
I
yesterday.
heard about that. But in those types of things, I mean, it may not be exactly relevant, but it's more about a thought of freedom and a thought of doing something. Swing on a swing. Know what I'd really like to do? I'd like to just go and sit on my back porch for 10 minutes. Like then you think of the things that embody that spirit, right? So it's not saying that, okay, now I probably couldn't go to a park today because they're all closed, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I can't swing on a swing, but I can, and then you have something else you can do instead. So it's just to give you that thought, that feeling, expressing that. And so when those things change, I try not to put things in there that I'm gonna have to go back and mess with. I want it to be that underlying foundation that no matter what's happening, this is still true for me. This is still true to what we're doing.
Awesome. Well, is there anything special that you're working on now that folks can come and get a taste of?
So I have been working on a lot of webinars with my groups lately. So I teach with SCORE and the SBDC and their Small Business Development Council. And so I've been doing a lot of that, and that's listed on my website. There's a link for all the stuff that's coming up, all the different places and how you can register. So those are just some live things that are happening. But I will share with you my new website, which has a resources page, and I will bring that up so you can see. As I said, you said you liked new tech, so I'll share some of my favorite with you. Here is Chrome. Here it is. Okay. So this is my marketing tools page, and this is our website, beyondthecause.co/tools. These are two packets that I put together, two ebooks that I wrote with some other little goodies in there. One of them has my social media in a day ebook, and it has all my lists that I use for all my social media. And then this one is my post generator. So how to
Awesome.
generate your posts, and it also gives you all my Canva templates, which are all of these. So you get to take them and tweak them and do all that kind of fun stuff with them because they're all through Canva. And then these are all of my affiliates that I use, and I use all of these things personally. If I don't use it, I take it off. So, but these are all the things that I use in my business. And my two new favorites, well, Drag App, of course, is on here, but Alitu and Termageddon are my two new favorites. Alitu is my new podcasting publishing software.
Mm-hmm.
It allows me to create my entire podcast and edit it in less than 10 minutes.
Hmm. I'll check it
So
out.
I stopped worrying about like, oh my God, I don't want to edit another podcast. And so it's like really, really fast. So I'm definitely in love with that. And then Termageddon is for your privacy and terms and disclaimers that are, like at the bottom of your website, but we don't ever like update them, or we get a lawyer to do them and they're just done, right? But
Right.
the Florida laws change, like state laws and federal laws change all the time, and we have no idea. And then you can get sued over the stupid privacy policy for like no reason, right? So what this does, I'll go to it so you can see it. And you'll see it kind of loads a little bit slower because not a lot of people are really going to it. Let's see if I'll pop it up here. But there it goes. So this is actually, and you see how it kind of looked a little funny as it loaded. It does that because this is actually a code that's in my site from Termageddon, and they keep track of all the changes that happen, and they automatically update it
Awesome.
every time it needs to be updated. So it's pretty neat that it's kind of like having a lawyer in your back pocket. This one was updated the 13th, so that means
Recently.
something just happened. And I had no idea that was, an issue. So I wouldn't have known to put that in there, right? Like a couple days ago. So I love that they keep track of it and they keep everything running smoothly for us so that we don't have to, worry about
That's
craziness
cool.
happening.
That's
So yeah,
cool.
these are my tools, and this is kind of my new thing that I put together. People have been asking me about all the tools I use for a long time, so finally I got a page together.
I know I'm bad about providing those sorts of recommendations as well. Well done. Well done. All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us. You know what to do. Do the likey thing and the subscribey thing and all of those fun thingies. And we will see you next time. Bye.